You know what's going on as well as anybody? It's not good. A small handful of powerful social media monopolies controls a vast portion of all public and private communications in the United States. And we know what they are. We don't have to name them. We're going to give you a complete listing. We're going to give you a signed copy of what I'm going to be signing in a couple of minutes, and you'll see exactly what we're doing. They've had unchecked power to censor, restrict, edit, shape, hide, alter virtually any form of communication between private citizens or large public audiences. There's no precedent in American history for so small a number of corporations to control so large a sphere of human interaction, and that includes individual people controlling vast amounts of territory, and we can't allow that to happen, especially when they go about doing what they're doing, because they're doing things incorrectly. They have points of view, and if we go by that, it's actually amazing that there was a success in 2016, but we can't let this continue to happen. It's very, very unfair. And you look at the statistics and you look at what is going on, and I think everybody would very much agree with that, including Democrats, by the way. I saw quite a few Democrats are saying this is about time something is done. So let's see if they keep that decision after they hear that we agree with them. The choices that Twitter makes when it chooses to suppress, edit, blacklist, shadow, ban are editorial decisions, pure and simple. They're editorial decisions. In those moments, Twitter ceases to be a neutral public platform and they become an editor with a viewpoint. And I think we can say that about others also, whether you're looking at Google, whether you're looking at Facebook, and perhaps others. One egregious example is when they try to silence views that they disagree with by selectively applying a fact check, F-A-C-T, fact check. What they choose to fact check and what they choose to ignore or even promote is nothing more than a political activism group or political activism. And it's inappropriate. You look at what's happened, you look at where they're going, where they're coming from. I think you all see it yourselves. This censorship and bias is a threat to freedom itself. Imagine if your phone company silenced or edited your conversation. Social media companies have vastly more power and more reach than any phone company in the United States, more reach actually than your newspapers by far, more reach than a lot of your traditional forms of communication. Therefore, today I'm signing an executive order to protect and uphold the free speech and rights of the American people. Currently, social media giants like Twitter receive an unprecedented liability shield based on the theory that they're a neutral platform, which they are not an editor with a viewpoint. My executive order calls for new regulations under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act to make it that social media companies that engage in censoring or any political conduct will not be able to keep their liability shield. That's a big deal. They have a shield.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Distort the Order, a place where you will find no lies. Today, Americans have a day to rejoice because freedom of speech was preserved. As you saw in the video, the Big D has had enough of corporate censorship. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what's going on, platforms like Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter have a leftist viewpoint. While these platforms are amazing for the tools they offer, their political viewpoint often causes them to make dictator-like decisions. This means that red pill, right-wing, Republican content constantly deals with censorship-related issues. I personally follow many YouTubers who face this problem on a regular basis. They will release a video, and because the content of the video doesn't follow the mainstream leftist viewpoints, their videos will get demonetized, videos will get randomly taken down, accounts will be permanently banned with very little room for appeal. If you think about it, that's messed up. Some YouTubers have their channels as a full-time gig, and employees from the company have the enormous power of having control over these people's livelihoods, and with the push of a button, they have the power to completely change someone's life and deleting all of their hard work. And that's brutal for someone who is just posting opinions or even stating facts. Where the hell is free speech? A lot of these YouTubers are not posting egregious content. They post about their life experiences, giving people an insight into their lives. They post about political content. They post about the current issue we're facing and how the mainstream may be wrong. They even post news articles to support their claims. And they constantly complain about YouTube and their review process. And many of them go as far as to say that their days on YouTube are numbered. In fact, YouTube has actively stated that anyone that posts content about the illness that goes against the World Health Organization's advice would have their content removed. This is very ironic because many doctors have even stated on the record that the World Health Organization's approach to the pandemic is completely ridiculous. Now, that's objectively wrong and it violates the First Amendment. Now, people can argue that these companies are independent platforms, and if you post on their platforms, you have to play by their rules. This could be a fair argument if the platform was tiny. For example, if the platform was a high school football club, it would be acceptable that the people from the football club wanted to exclude the chess kid because the kid does not fit within the confines of what that group's purpose is. But when it comes to a large corporation whose platform is public, that platform should encourage equal treatment of all its content, provided it's within the confines of the law. Now, perhaps the most hypocritical thing about this is that leftist philosophy is all about inclusiveness and accepting everyone no matter how different they are. However, this hypocrisy is disgusting if you think that the companies that preach this actively ban people simply because they disagree with their viewpoint. So what their corporate culture is actually saying isn't that everyone is welcome, it's suggesting that only everyone that agrees with their political beliefs are welcome. Now, I wanted to post footage from a video from Dr. Shiva Ayyudarai, who is a PhD from MIT. In this video, he actually posted about how the way the quarantine is being handled is completely wrong and how the scientific approach as of late has changed from the scientific method to scientific consensus. And if certain doctors don't agree with that consensus, a prominent doctor like Dr. Fauci can discredit all of that doctor's work and effectively destroy his career just for not following the narrative. That's disgusting, and it defeats the whole purpose of science, which is to discover the truth about how our universe functions. And not only that, the purpose of science is to bless that knowledge upon humanity so that we may progress and grow as a species. Unsurprisingly, every single video I tried to find about this today is gone. A PhD from MIT posting his opinion, his backed up opinion about how things are being handled should not ever get removed. The good news is I found the video on BitchUte and the link is in the description below, so make sure to check that out as well. People are allowed to say that the authorities are wrong because they very well could be for a wide variety of matters. Spitting on free speech is spitting on democracy and spitting on this country, and the people in these companies who enforce this are doing something wrong. Now, I want to commend the president for taking a firm stance against this. People on the left will say that he is doing this for himself so he could get reelected again, but I would disagree with that. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The man donates his entire presidential salary and he just preserved the value of the First Amendment. And just to reiterate how important free speech is, it's the first damn amendment, not the third, not the fourth, the first. And for your information, these companies are publicly traded companies, meaning the shareholders are people like you and me. And it's important to preserve our freedoms to express and make sure that everyone has the right to express their ideas, whether they are mainstream or not, and whether they follow the consensus or not. And you could even entirely disagree with this person and despise them. You have the right to disagree with someone and to despise them. But you don't have the right to shut them up and not let them express themselves. They have the right to say whatever they want, just like you do. Now, I've been looking more into President 45, and I wanted to post some good moments from him so that you can assess for yourself who this man truly is and what it is he is trying to do. Whether you personally like him or not is entirely besides the point. No one is forcing you to vote for him, but it is your duty as a voter to know who it is you're voting for. Check it out.
Well, I wrote a book in the late 80s called The Art of the Deal, and to this day, it's the biggest selling business book ever written. and it doesn't change. I mean, the times have changed, the world has changed, business has changed, but it doesn't change. And to a certain extent, it was about negotiation. And a lot of negotiations about honesty. Be honest, because the other side, you're dealing with intelligent people, they're going to see it. But have an idea, make sure it's the right idea, and never, ever quit or give up on it. And be straight, be honest, because you're going to meet a lot of these people all throughout your life. And if they respect you, and if they do more or less what you want them to do, you're going to have to show that great degree of honesty. So the Art of the Deal was a great honor for me because of its wonderful success. It hasn't changed very much, and it probably won't. If we go 1,000 years into the future, if we're here in the sense of nuclear weapons and all the kind of things that are being bandied about today, that's the big risk. I mean, beyond what Robert and I talk about is the big risk of, is this world of ours going to be blown up by some maniac or some idiot that doesn't know what they're doing? But let's try and assume, which is a pretty big assumption, that we are all going, as a race, we're going to be around, we're going to be here. The human race, it won't change. Negotiation will never change. It's always going to be the art of the deal. It's always going to be, you can pick up that book in 1,000 years, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same.
And if I could say, you know, like, what was 1986, the Art of the Deal came out, and I was flat broke. So Kim and I ran out, and we saw you, you know, talking about your book. And so Kim and I ran out, and we bought your book. And I said, wow. And that's why it was such an honor to come and talk to you and all this, because that book really straightened me out. When I was so down, the Art of the Deal says I can still think bigger. It doesn't cost any money to think bigger.
That's great.
I think that's why you write your book, is to share what you know and, you know, to give to more people knowledge. And that's why financial education is so important. Because the greatest lesson I think you imparted was, can you come back? Do you have the strength to stand back up, dust yourself off, and step forward again?
Well, the word you use, strength, is very important. You have to have that strength. And I don't know if that's God-given. I don't know if it's something you're just born with or you develop it. And frankly, it'd be wonderful if you could develop it, but I'm not so sure you can. But you need strength. And I really do it because I love education, and I have learned a lot, both good and bad. Right. And if I can impart that to a lot of people sitting before me so that their lives can be made easier and they can have just a better life. And, you know, it sounds terrible to say make more money, but making more money makes your life easier. You don't have to worry so much about education and doctor's bills, and so it does make your life better. You see, the number one reason for divorce is lack of money,
right?
Which was surprising. I saw it the other day. There are many more people getting divorced today because they have financial trouble than 2 or 3 years ago, which is amazing to me. I never thought in terms of money and divorce. But making money sounds basic and sounds almost crude, how to make money. But if we can help you in the making of some money, it's going to give you a better life.
Right. I think the most important thing that you pass on, and I want to pass on, is the spirit to go on, the spirit to stay strong.
Now, to contrast this video, the Democrat nominee Joe Biden literally told this man that if he cannot pick between him or Trump, and I quote, he ain't black.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
This kind of groupthink is exactly how the Dems win the black vote. Propaganda and groupthink. Take a look at black unemployment under President 45. Now, this man can look at this chart and say, wow, under President 45, unemployment went down. I want to vote for President 45. But here's Joe Biden actively stating that he ain't black if he doesn't vote his way. Now, I want your opinion on this matter because it is a pretty serious matter. We're in America. America is all about freedom, and these are egregious examples of how that freedom is being subtly violated. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Until next time.